So cute. Desiree Live reporting to you at To Get Fit. Hello, everybody. Hi. This is Desiree here with To Get Fit reporting live. I'm reporting solo today. I know, but just pretend that Jamie's here. But how are you guys doing out there today? Hope you guys can hear me okay. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. So, I had a very interesting question for today. It's a question that many of you probably have thought about. Why can't I lose weight? I don't eat that much. Is that you? Does it sound familiar to you? Is that something that you struggle with yourself? So the same statement is something that stands out that we come across a lot here at the studio. When clients come in to work with us, one of the first things that we check out and have them track is their calories, just to see how much they're taking in and if it's sufficient to reach their goals. And 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you, it's it's not enough. They're not eating enough. So today, we're going to be going over why that's the case. Today, we'll go over how our metabolism responds to when we're in a calorie deficit and what can be done to correct it. And how many calories should I eat? That's the big question. How many calories should I eat? So, first things first, when this happens, we're not eating that much, but we can't seem to lose weight. I have two words for you: metabolic adaptation. And you may be wondering, what in the world is a metabolic adaptation? So we've got to look at, and I'm looking at my notes if you see me looking down, we've got to look at what happens to your body when you're in a deficit. And we've got to look at, so many people that go into these diets, why diets don't work. So let's look at that first. So you may be saying, well, Desiree, I have to be in a calorie deficit. I want to lose weight. That is true to a certain extent, but the question is, how much of a calorie deficit do you need to be in, and how long have you been in a calorie deficit? You've got to think about what that calorie deficit is doing to your body, what it does to your metabolism, to be exact. So when a person starts to lose weight, they decide they want to lose weight. What happens to your metabolism is your metabolic rate slows down. So when you start to lose weight, your body needs less fuel. And so your body isn't burning as many calories as you think it is. And so the longer that you're in a calorie deficit and the bigger the calorie deficit, well, your metabolic rate is going to slow down even more. And so the slowing down of your metabolism when you're in a calorie deficit, it's going to happen. It's something that's unavoidable. But the thing is, you can minimize how much it slows down. So, how, let me give you an example. So, say for instance, if you start on a calorie deficit, start on a diet, and so you drop your calories, and you may see some initial weight loss, but then your metabolism adapts, and then weight loss slows. And then so you're left with the choice of, well, I've got to drop calories even lower to see even more progress. And what you're really doing is you're just teaching your metabolism, teaching your body to run on fewer calories. And then you get stuck. And then all hopes of chances of weight loss, they slow down as well. So, but what can be done about it? Can anything be done about it? I have a couple ways to minimize these metabolic adaptation. One thing you've got to look at is your exercise, your training. Resistance training, strength training, putting on lean muscle tissue helps to increase or speed up your metabolic rate. The second thing to consider, to take into consideration, looking at the breakdown of the calories that you ingest. How much of it is protein? The protein has a thermogenic effect on the body. So your body has to burn more calories to break that protein down. In a sense, speeding up your metabolism, increasing that metabolic rate. Another thing that you can take into consideration to increase your metabolic rate is to take some diet breaks. Take some refeed days. And this is especially important for females because dieting can have an effect on female hormones. But that's another topic. That's another book, another chapter that will open another day. But um, dieting it can have a impact on female hormones as well. So one thing we can do is look at our training. Are we doing just cardio based workouts, or are we incorporating strength training? So incorporating strength training, resistance training 2 to 3 times a week will help to increase that metabolic rate. Two, looking at how much protein you're taking in. 9 times out of 10, when clients come in to see us, they're not taking in much protein at all. Like I mentioned before, protein has a thermogenic effect on the body. Your body has to utilize more calories to break protein down, in a sense, speeding up your metabolism. Another thing that you can take into consideration is to take some diet breaks or do a refeed. And you may say, what is a refeed? So I'll give you an example. So you have 7 days. So 6 of those days, you're in a calorie deficit, a small calorie deficit, not a large calorie deficit. And then one day, you'll do a refeed day and bring your calories back up to maintenance by increasing your carbohydrates. Another scenario you can do with a diet break is do a 2 day refeed. So I'm at 5 days at a calorie deficit, a small calorie deficit, and then I'll do a 2 day refeed by increasing calories up to maintenance by increasing carbohydrates. But in order to do that, you have to know how many calories you're taking in. Huh. Well, how do I know? Well, what we do here, we have our clients keep track of it. Log your calories. That way, it's kind of like a roadmap. If you need to make some adjustments, you know which way to go. But if you don't know how many calories you're taking in, anyways, how can you make adjustments? So, one, look at your training. Incorporate strength training, resistance training 2 to 3 times a week with the focus on progressive overload, with the focus on increasing your strength, with the focus on increasing your weight, increasing your reps, increasing your sets, increasing the intensity of your workout. No, not just lifting the same weights week to week, week to week. Second thing is looking at how much protein you're taking in. Is it adequate? No, like I mentioned before, protein has a thermogenic effect on the body, and will increase your metabolic rate. And the third thing, diet breaks, refeeds, 5 days in a calorie deficit. 2 day refeed, increasing your calories to maintenance through carbs, or a 6 day calorie deficit, a 1 day refeed. But in order to do that, you've got to know how many calories you're taking in. And so you may say, well, Desiree, how many calories should I eat to be losing weight? The first thing to start with is to see how many calories you're currently taking in. So, in order to do that, you got to log those calories. There's no way around it. How else will you know unless you log it? So, and there's many different apps you can use. There's free apps you can use. I'm sure you can find some on your Apple Store, on um, the Play Store, and just start logging your calories, tracking your food, and seeing how many calories you take in. Look at how much protein you take in, carbs, fats that you take in, and that'll give you us a good start as to how many calories I should eat. First, you start by how many calories you're taking in, and most times, all that needs to be made is just some adjustments, increasing your protein, monitoring your carbs and your fats. So, those are some ways that you can um, slow down or minimize the effect that dieting can have on the body, that dieting can have on the metabolism. Because the thing is, excuse me, just like you adapt. Your body adapts to um, lifting weights. If I were to start lifting a 10-pound weight, and initially it'll be hard, after 2 weeks it'll get easier, after 2 more weeks it's easier. But if I continue to lift the same weight month after month after month, my body has gotten used to it. It has adapted. And so the same thing comes into play with your metabolism. If you're in that calorie deficit, and if it's a large calorie deficit and it's over a long period of time, your metabolism just adapts and it slows and it slows and it slows and it slows. So, um, like I mentioned before, slowing down metabolism is unavoidable, but you can minimize how much it slows down by implementing those three things that we mentioned today or that I mentioned today. So I hope that answered your question. And hey, if you guys have any other questions or if you want to know any more information about that, leave it in the comments below. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any more of this awesome content. And also let us know what other content that you want us to make. What other questions do you want answered? So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, comment, like, subscribe, smash that button. And as always, come and get some. I've got to do it for both of us. Come and get some. Thanks, guys.